weed, honey.
Oh,
and I'm gonna.
So you're gonna get high, and you're gonna go watch the Mike Lindell interviews.
I'm gonna go
We'll
into Bannon's world. You know.
Oh my god!
Today is going to be
understand the mind.
What a shitty weekend you're gonna have.
Fucking idiots. Shitty. We'll see what happens. I got all Sunday to recover.
And,
well, that's true. But let's listen to his
because
end
Hal's
of
going to be
weird
talking
little
to
explanation
some people
here of
in.
why he lost because this guy's IT, not cyber.
I love how Mike Lindell has already screwed us up. He lost the $5 million, and the first thing he says is he's an IT guy, and he's a computer guy, but he's not a cyber guy. And I think what he thought he was trying to say is that the IT guy was not a cybersecurity expert. Now, cybersecurity experts are kind of a new thing, shall we say? Because they're new. Because the internet's pretty new. So I'm not even IT guys know how cyber works.
The three arbitrators
we have to know how the IP,
we only get a little pool
get
to
your
choose
traffic, how to set up your Wi-Fi, how to set up your servers, how to get you so you can sign on, sign off.
Wink.
That's what cyber is.
But we lost. Wink.
Yeah, it's
Dumbass.
Actually something related to this found its way onto Bonehead.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was a literal last minute.
You call it audible?
Last minute addition I made to the Bonehead.
Okay, well, you know what? Should we just?
I want to see what
let's
his
just get
Bonehead
into
of
it.
the
let
week
me make
is.
sure I don't have any more. I had a
I'm
few
gonna
more clips
take out
that didn't have to
you.
do with Bonehead that I wanted to go over here.
you,
That's
you,
the Carrie
not
Lake
you.
thing. You might be able to work
Okay,
it out.
hold on. I guess there's an interview. Hold on, I'm curious about this.
Yeah.
You've got to watch the interview with the guy that proved him wrong. Where would I find that interview?
Yeah, is it on Twitter?
Is it on
what's
Twitter?
The name?
Is it
What's
on,
the
is it
name
on
of the
YouTube?
guy?
Where do I get that interview?
Yeah. While you're cutting that down,
is there an interview of that?
You live in California. You got to vote.
Yep.
So there was
it's so fucking left
I'm here too.
wing.
Right.
He's down there. I'm up
Stuff
here.
out here. I'll tell you, a lot of Hollywood celebrities, super commies.
Oh, really? Do they walk around with commie shirts on? I'm a commie.
Yeah, they say I'm a commie, and then they go, I'm with
commie.
commie.
With commie.
And it's just arrows both ways. You know?
I'm commie and I'm with commie.
And I'm with commie.
So, there was a special election a few years ago of a recall of Gavin Newsom. Do you remember the one guy that was
a few years ago? It was last year.
Was it last year? Whatever. Fuck you, man.
Yeah,
I
it was
lose
just
track
last
of
year.
time here.
The only reason it was able to go into a recall was because of the goddamn pandemic, and they gave him more time to get the votes required.
Oh,
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But I know where you're
They
going
didn't
with
have
this.
enough votes,
The
and
guy
they did get to it.
What was his name?
Larry Elder.
Right. Now, who is Larry Elder?
Oh,
Larry.
Larry
Blind
Elder is a
black
talk show
fucking
person.
piece of shit.
Oh,
that he is.
really?
Who, by the way, had on the record said, I don't have any plans. I don't want to run for office. I don't.
Right.
Someone was like, oh, you should run for governor. I think it was a caller that called in. And or it was something like that.
Yep.
And he
That's
was like,
a great idea.
He was like, I don't want to do that. He said he didn't want to do it. No, he said he didn't want to do it.
But he did.
But then the GOP forced his hand and made him do it. Only to then be embarrassed because he couldn't get anywhere close to beating Gavin Newsom.
Right. We tore him apart on the show like every day. Like on a daily, we tore him apart. And Gavin Newsom buried him in votes.
Well, he also came on to Tucker Carlson, which you're going to show a clip there.
Right.
But he went on to Tucker Carlson after Nancy Pelosi's husband was attacked with a hammer.
Right.
And he was making jokes. And he's like, oh, well, as soon as I knew he was alive, I knew that my joke was okay. I was like, what?
Well, I mean, it is Larry Elder.
Like I said, he is an asinine piece of fucking black shit.
He thinks he's going to run for president. I think this is the funniest shit
I've
ever heard of Larry Elder say. Let's listen.
Mr. Tucker.
Yeah.
Is I'm announcing that I'm running for the presidency of the United States on your program. And thank you so much for giving me this
Yay,
honor.
baby.
Tucker's
Showing
like,
more and more
wow,
what this
wow,
Republican Party is made of, child. Let's show you what the Republican Party made
Larry Elder had this in his back pocket, and he knew that he could get some national press. But you know what, Larry?
He must need
Honestly,
some money.
I'm gonna say go like you said.
Oh, does he
do
have a
it.
show
Let's-
anymore?
Yeah, why
Oh,
not?
Yeah,
maybe that's
fuck
what
yeah.
it is. He
Larry
doesn't have
Elder
a
was
show
a fan.
anymore,
I thought
does he?
Larry
I
Elder
think
and
he's just
Donald
doing a
Trump were, like,
podcast, isn't he?
Tight.
Buddy.
He's just doing a
I thought
podcast
Larry
that would
Elder was
explain a
in
lot of
Mar-a-Lago
this.
a lot, but maybe I'm wrong. But
Yeah.
hey,
I don't know.
Larry,
I love it.
honestly,
Do it.
I'm in favor of this, man. There's nothing better than if we had imagine the chance and the opportunity for us to have clips of listen to this, Chris Christie, Donald Trump, Ron DeSantis, and Larry Elder all standing on stage making shit
Be right back
sandwiches,
to,
right?
Oh, yeah.
Hal in a
Oh
minute.
my God.
Mm-mm-mm.
Hell to the how delicious that would be. That's going to be fantastic to make sure Donald Trump is the nominee and we can kick his fucking ass in 2024. But I don't think Ron's getting into this.
No.
Apparently, Ron DeSantis is
He's not doing too
Ron
well because
DeSantis
he's
is not.
literally
Every
having to
minute that
use
goes
his
by
lackeys
is
to
less
do
and
Corporate
a
Republicans
lot
less
of
and
his
less.
stuff that
man.
should
Yeah.
be
There's no way.
his
the
hand.
fuck?
Literally his
They
hand.
were I mean, they were in big support of him just 3 weeks ago?
Right, because
These
they thought that he
big
was going to be
corporate money,
the
big
because they
billionaire
didn't realize
donors,
he's
the
not a
donor class in
retail
the Republican
politician.
Party,
He
they were all
barely
ready
squeaked through.
to
He, I
back
think,
him
because
and
the way
get him
that
in the race
just,
to beat Trump. But the
Democrats just did
fizzled.
not show
It
up
fizzled.
in Florida for some reason.
Here's another clip I forgot to show yesterday. Speaking of fucking,
I don't know if it
the
was
donor
just that
class
they,
and
you know,
Republicans.
like I
where
I
is
was
Marco
thinking the same
Rubio?
thing.
Marco Rubio
Running a
is I don't
former
know, not in Florida,
Republican
but
as
he's
a
bitching about
Democrat.
it. Let's listen.
Didn't work well, and we need to stop doing that.
Yeah, it is. That's your state, man. Did you know
Yeah.
you represent that state? Okay, let's listen.
Can't find gasoline anywhere. This has been going on since Sunday, and they're blaming it on the floods that impacted.
Who's they, Marco? Who is they? Let's
Yeah.
listen.
Oh, you mean
Let's see if you
that,
define
that
who
section
they
of
is.
Miami that got flooded?
It's been 4 days. This should have been figured out by now. And they're blaming it on consumer panic. Yeah, people are panicked because they got to get to work. They got places to go. And you either can't find gas or you have to wait in line for like 2 hours down the street.
You know what, Marco? You know what you should do? You should call your United States Senator that is representing Florida. I bet that motherfucker might be able to do something. Let's see if that's his suggestion here at the end. Call
how about
your
this?
United States representative.
How about having a car that doesn't require you to even use that gas?
I mean, don't call the governor
And that,
for sure.
by the
Well,
way,
yeah, he's
has a
definitely not gonna
lesser
do anything.
chance
That
of
guy-
getting stuck because
that guy
of
is way too
getting in the
hyper
water.
focused on jerking off to fucking Mickey Mouse pictures.
Oh no,
and,
it
and
might
running
still
around the
drown
country
out,
selling a
but
stupid
it has a
fucking
lesser
woke-ass book.
chance.
That guy would, if there was a call that came from Marco Rubio to be like, hey, you know, like, Ronnie, we got to figure this out. He'd like look at the phone and go, nope, not going to take that. and the people he's with in DC, they're like, oh, you need to take that phone call? And he goes, no, I'm good. I don't know.
Who do you
good,
think
yeah.
Marco
I'm good.
Rubio?
Was news on this. I'm just getting
Stoltenberg said that, you know, Ukraine should be part of NATO, will eventually join the alliance. Milley and Austin, aside from the whole thing about we need to give them land-based anti-aircraft systems, there's been talk from the Americans that we're going to start, we're going to increase or really start our training on Abrams.
Right.
You know, see, the only problem with the Abrams is, remember, they are a jet engine.
More tanks.
So they're a kerosene-based engine,
I
not
think-
a diesel-based engine.
Right. Okay.
So that's my only fear about
That's
them.
a
And because it
reasonable
is a
amount of
jet
stuff. There's
engine.
Let's see. There's a where is it?
There's
I
a
wanna say-
repair
okay.
difference, which I'm hoping that they've gotten
What's his name?
enough people
Solovyev
to understand
has
that.
also gone on about
repairs that are gonna
apparently
need
now
to be
they have to
done by the
denazify
Ukrainians.
all of the Baltic states. They're all
What?
everybody's a Nazis. He's the Oprah Winfrey of Nazism under your political chair, and you get some Nazis, and you get some Nazis, and you get some Nazis.
you get some Nazi, and
Yeah.
you get a little
and,
Nazi.
and we'll round you up and and get rid of the Nazis for you. It's very much, well, I almost gave a spoiler on The Last of Us, and I'm not going to do it.
Oh.
There's so much, yeah.
Oh.
But
I mean, it's we had a couple of air raid sirens today. I don't know if that's connected to anything. There've been drone attacks around the country. I believe who got hit. Was it
Ukraine?
Dnipro
These are
may have gotten
Ukraine
a
updates. He's
drone
actually
strike.
in Kiev right now. So
I'm not sure where else, but
just
you know,
what I want to do is just push a little bit more
at
of
the end of the day, everybody's
different
waiting for the other shoe to drop.
flavors
And
that
for
we
the
have
other,
out
for
there
the
to
counteroffensive
get
to
the
begin. And
information.
there was a statement
It's
by the
always
Deputy
going
Minister
to counterfacts.
of Defense,
And it's going to be people like
said,
this. It's going to be people like Tony
the
who
counteroffensive had
start
already
the whole
begun.
new
Now, I
radio
think what she
station, the
meant
whole new podcast.
was not
that does take over.
When we think of a counteroffensive, you know, you think of like all the tanks
I'm
go
going to go back to
rumbling
him
out
right
and all
now
the rest of it.
He's hitting.
It was
on
actually
all
interesting to
cylinders.
hear her press conference and to hear her parroting.
About.
I mean, it could have been a press conference from 2006 Baghdad for all, you know, for the language. We're starting shaping
bogus data because normally data analysis could take weeks or months, and I had 3 days. But the data was so obviously fake that
I gotta say something real quick.
Thank you.
This guy's got some magnificent teeth, doesn't he? Are you noticing that? Hey, he's got some really good teeth. I don't know if he's gonna need the $5 million. That's like $1 million smile, man. I don't know, Mike. Hey, man, maybe you should use that in your defense here if you get to appeal this $5 million decision. Be like, this guy doesn't need $5 million. Look at that $1 million smile he's got. Look at that. So what this guy is saying is Mike Lindell challenged someone to take the data that Mike Lindell had and to prove that it's real or fake, and that he will give you $5 million if you prove that it's fake. Is that what he's saying?
Fake.
Is that what happened here?
Completely fake.
I think that's what he's saying. Okay, let's keep going.
That I spent a few hours before I could show it was fake. I always
doesn't even
worry,
take
though,
that
Mike
long.
Lindell has a lot of
you can run it through
a lot of
3 or 4 things. I looked at it and I'm just like, what the fuck is this shit?
I think the court system generally justice is served,
is this
but not
a
always.
log?
And
is it
so I was
made
never
no
sure
sense.
if I was going to be awarded the money, and more than the money, I really wanted the people, the public, to know what was going on.
Well, and that's what you've accomplished. I mean, amazing. You'd say you'd think it would take you, could take you months, took you hours, essentially. That's
once
how
you start
difficult
looking
it was
at
to debunk, to make the point.
Right.
Mike Lindell,
as an IT person, you have to understand what you're looking at when you're looking at a log. When you're looking at, sometimes you're looking at a log, and in the log you can actually see programming.
Unfortunately, I don't think so.
Being spit out in the
I don't
log.
think it's because of court. I think if he does go to court, if he does appeal, I think it's going to be thrown out. But unfortunately, I don't think he has a case against Dominion, or I should say Dominion has a great case against him. And Dominion, of course, is asking for, I think, $1.2 billion. And I don't think
which they're never going to get. We know that.
$1.3 billion.
Yeah. Remember, this is the dude who had to sell one of his jets to actually pay because
I love it. He's like, I don't think I'm going to. That motherfucker ain't going to have enough money to go around. My $5 million is just not going to shake off this guy. Oh my God.
Unbelievable.
Oh, Mike Lindell's in serious trouble. When you got this guy on CNN, like, I really don't think I'm going to get the money.
Big.
I mean, Dominion's going to have their hands in that fucking pot. No way am I going to get mine.
In a way that's
that's why I said that. I was like,
what
did this guy get? I was like, did he get the $5 million? I didn't even watch the clip. So
I mean, they've ordered the arbiter has ordered the board as
right. But of course he's going to try to fight it.
Right.
He's going to say, I don't have to actually owe this, and then I don't know. The whole thing. I mean, the whole thing is beautiful in the way that Mike Lindell, the guy, they're like, we should have taken weeks. I only had 3 days, but it really took me 3 hours, right? Like the ability to prove him wrong just shows you how much Mike Lindell, like, dude, he ran a fucking cyber symposium and then he did another cyber symposium, and even
today,
what's the fucking Watkins when he was on the call. For the cyber symposium,
he was like, my lawyer has told me I can't do this anymore.
He's like, this doesn't make any sense. You guys keep just coincidentally going.
Can you pull that? That's not a bad point. Is because Watkins was actually talking about the data. Yeah. Right. And the reason why Watkins was Watkins, for you who don't know, Watkins, some people accuse Watkins of actually being QAnon. But who is Watkins? Watkins and his dad are the ones who started like 4chan and 8chan. Is that right? Or were a big part of the perpetuation of it. Now, Watkins was on this call, if we can find this clip, And the reason why him and his attorney are like, yeah, we can't go any further is because they realized that the data that they had was stolen. Right? Isn't that what it was?
It wasn't that it was stolen, but it was here, let me.
Yeah, because Watkins didn't want any kind of legal liability.
Well, when they were looking at the data, I don't know if they found that it was stolen, but they definitely, there was a moment where he was also finding that he's like, oh, you just happen to, like, every time you are asked to prove with actual data, like evidence, you keep having tech problems, which is a bit ironic at the cyber symposium. I guess they didn't have a tech guy there.
Well, no.
They had cyber guy.
No, they had tech guys and IT guys. They didn't have cyber guys.
That's
the problem.
I mean,
that's the problem.
Everyone
knows that a cyber guy is
a cyber guy.
He's like, I got my cyber guy taking a look at this. I got my cyber
or a computer
They're like, okay,
guy.
Grandpa, yeah, you got a cyber guy.
A cyber guy.
Apple Genius.
A cyber guy? No, an Apple Genius is not a cyber guy. An Apple Genius would not be a cyber guy, though.
But I'm assuming it's the same data that this guy would have challenged.
Although you might find some geniuses who are cyber guys.
This guy was able to see this data within two hours and understand that it was fucking bogus.
Yeah.
Then maybe that's the conclusion that Watkins came to all the way back in the first cyber symposium, which it sounds like any data analysis would discover that this was all bullshit within the first 2 minutes of looking at it.
Yeah, it's possible that this is the same. Okay,
because I think that's the same conclusion that they had live on air. If you can find that, there's a few other things trending here. What the hell is this? Puts out blue with
early in the morning.
What?
We had a little flooding last night.
So,
and I still have alarms going off.
Representative David Trott is digging into Ron DeSantis. Now, this is coming after just days after Donald Trump secured over 60 endorsements in the House of Representatives, and Ron DeSantis couldn't even pull more than 2. But
I think he got 3. I think he got 3.
Oh, well, goddamn.
From his state.
I think when I saw the number, it was like 60 something or 60.
Yeah,
and then
61, I think, and Ron DeSantis barely got 3. But David Trott here, and I'm not sure if David Trott endorsed anybody, but he did say in an interview that this is a quote, I sat right next to Ron DeSantis for 2 years on Foreign Affairs Committee, and he never said a single word to me. So he's a snotty little bastard.
Yeah.
Apparently. He's rude, apparently.
Did you hear about Jenna Ellis?
No.
Jenna Ellis.
You got me interested, though.
Jenna Ellis is now getting thrown under the bus by the Trump campaign.
Well, the reason why is because she's been going out there in public, distancing herself from Trump and trying to get on the DeSantis train, and it ain't been working.
Yeah, there's a Daily Beast article that I'm like partway through right now.
What?
And basically, she is, for her disloyalty to Trump, and
she's being punished.
Quasi loyalty to DeSantis, right? She's now getting disowned by the Trump campaign.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't. To be honest, if the audience doesn't remember who Jenna Ellis is, she's the one. She's the one who got farted on by Rudy Giuliani and gave her the COVID.
COVID farted.
COVID
farted
through farts, right? Via farts.
Farted.
COVID farted, and she's like, COVID. That's how COVID. That's how COVID farts work.
That is actually where COVID started.
COVID farts.
Rudy Giuliani's farts. Okay, so
COVID farts.
Anyways, Jenna Ellis, that lying sack of shit, because she went around. She's also the one in Colorado. She damn near lost her license to practice law because a judge made her sign a public legal statement saying that she lied 10 times about the 2020 election and using her law license to do such. She's been walking away from Trump, and she's been doing it publicly because she's done it a lot in these Twitter spaces that we were in.
She does not like any. I've brought it up multiple times in these Twitter spaces, and she gets very offended by the fact that I
when you called her out.
Yeah, she's like, I gotta go.
All right, and I was like, what? Because you asked her the one time you asked her, did Trump lose?
Yeah, one time I said, did Trump lose the 2020 election?
Right.
And she goes, well, I just want to know. And she went into like, oh, well, and
that's another not a fucking answer.
Yeah,
and then she left.
And then she was like, I gotta go. And then I was like, oh god, what a fucking loser, dude. And then another time, she was talking about she was talking about elections and how.
Yeah, she thinks she's an election expert, and she's
she was talking. She was talking about election integrity. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I said, "Oh man!" The first thing I said, I only got one thing out to say, and I was like, "Look, I think it's pretty funny that we have Jenna Ellis on here talking about election integrity when we know that she was censured by the Colorado State Bar." She had admitted to lying 10 different times about falsehoods about the 2020 election. So the fact that she's talking about election integrity, I think is hilarious. I think it's hilarious that we're even listening to someone like this. And then she's like, and she got all fucking pissed off.
Well, she is a snowflake, and she gets triggered really easy.
I'm sorry. I'm just bringing facts, baby. I'm just bringing facts.
So here's the from Mike Lindell's first cyber symposium when Ron Watkins. Now this is an OAN broadcast because no one else would cover this shit, and that's why OAN is in deep shit with Dominion, and so is Newsmax going to be in deep shit with Dominion. And I think Steve Bannon and his fucking billionaire class supporters were the reason why this got funded. But really, honestly, I think Donald Trump, Steve Bannon, and the others are like, hey,
what the hell is that?
We'll just let Mike Lindell use all his money to support us. And, we'll just trick this fucking crazy lunatic into doing it. But let's watch how this
people in the comments go, that's a big ass screen. Yes, it is a big ass screen.
It is a big ass screen. Let's watch. Must have been put up by a bunch of cyber guys.
And he said,
cyber guys. Because you need a big ass screen.
And I just learned that
everybody, we love it that you're talking, but just take your volume down a little bit right now, please. Thank you.
We have a problem. It's just my lawyer just told me Ty Clevenger, Mr. Ty Clevenger.
Oh, what the hell?
Learned that
everybody, we love it.
Colorado County Clerk. And he needs to produce those hard drives immediately and return them to the clerk. And
so this is referring to, so you can hear Watkins there talking about how his attorney has told them that my statement is from my attorney, that you need to take the hard drives that you took from the clerk's office and take them back. See, that's why I thought it was considered stolen.
Yeah, that's what I forgot. Yeah. But there was another part. There's another part where Watkins goes, every time you happen to bring up, like, you're questioned about showing the evidence, you seem to have tech problems. And so it seems a little bit weird. And I think it might be the next clip if you go down.
Okay. The next clip from the thread there. Okay.
Well, okay. Does that at least give me?
Yeah. Okay. I think this is it. Let's see. Okay. Here's the next clip.
The third-party vendor running our elections, or is our county election workers? Bottom line.
Yeah. Great comment.
All right, can I put out an update really quick to that last statement I had?
Russia seeks to limit ruble hit amid exodus.
Are you showing something, Ron?
That's what's doing it.
Yeah, no. I just want to update that last statement that I had about.
I can never understand what he says for some reason.
I just want to update that last statement. So the information that Ty Clevenger received was from Sharona Bishop, and now she has informed Mr. Clevenger that Conan did have permission to take the hard drive, but did not have permission to upload it. Ms. Bishop indicated to Mr. Clevenger that she was an affiliate of Mrs. Peters, and now Mr. Clevenger is not sure whether that is in truth.
What?
All right, so you heard the name Peters there. Gabe Sanchez,
what the hell is
Peters?
that?
Do you remember the name Peters in Colorado? You don't remember the county clerk Peters?
Oh, was that the one that was
goddamn flying? You goddamn right it is. You goddamn right it is. Tina Peters is her name. But if you notice there, they were like, well, we had permission to hold them, right? So he's talking about physically have the hard drives, but you can't take the information off of them. The information, it's not the hard drives themselves that were stolen, it was the info. So, yeah, Tina Peters, the chat's lighting up now with Tina Peters.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
This is Mike Lindell's problem,
lies
right?
the problem
and this
when
is
these
the
people keep going,
that the guy
hard
had
drive,
with the fucking data.
The data
not
is
the
the
problem.
law.
I mean,
the law is
facts
the
provide the
data.
solution. When he was like, yeah, it took me like 2 minutes to discover that this is all bogus. was all bullshit. So Mike Lindell
Again,
loses
like I said,
$5 million
there is
and he
no
keeps
Hunter
tasting
Biden
the rake,
laptop.
and I'm here
But I'll
for
tell
their
you
rake
right
testing
now,
all
that's not what he's
day
suing
long.
for.
Okay, so
and
let's
if you're
go
paying
to,
attention, you know. If you read what Hunter Biden is suing for, and the reason that a lot of the Congress has backed off of it is because he's suing for the data. The data. Not a laptop. Not a hard drive.
do this. Let's do Bonehead of the Week. We're past a little time here, but we'll try to tick through Bonehead of the Week so we don't go to 6 hours today. I got some business to attend to. So let's do this. Let's go to break. When we come back, Bonehead of the Week.
What the fuck is wrong with you people?
Swap him off, and I'm going to bring them. Oops, sorry. Bring these guys up so we can just listen to them for a few minutes.
Yes.
Well, and there's a historical, there's a long-standing historical animosity between Russia and Turkey. They fought in the 19th century. I think they fought four or five wars against one another as Russia tried to expand and gain access to the warm water ports in the Adriatic and the Black Sea.
Right.
There's no love lost. No love lost between Turkey and Russia. So.
Well, and it's and Turkey, you know, is one. I think it's interesting. Turkey is one of those countries that I think the Europeans are aware of the strategic, you know, geographic power that Turkey has where it is. That's a huge part of it. It's almost entirely the seat of their power because it's, you know, none of us are on
so look at where
Turkey
it's at.
smartphones, right? But at the same time, they do have a fairly strong industrial base, a fairly strong, you know, oil and gas refining capability.
They've got a little bit of everything.
They know that because
they are that little mix of everything.
They have also built all the other shit you build on top of. Hey, the stuff shows up here. They pulled a Walmart. Hey, I own the trucks, or the trucks have to stop at my truck stop.
Exactly.
So
we figured out where we are central.
The truck.
We are
Turkey's been doing
we
that
are the
for
Memphis,
fucking
Tennessee.
centuries.
And they're NATO. They are not a comfortable relationship, but they are a NATO member and one of the most important air bases in America's network around the globe. And you have to look at America's network around the globe as a interconnected web. They all rely on one another. You know, we'll fly this here and we'll fly that there, and we'll pull this material there. And they have
bring these guys back up.
Incirlik.
Oops, sorry.
And Incirlik is enormous. It's one of our biggest air bases. I've flown in and out of Incirlik lots of times as an embedded member of the press. And you know, if we were to lose
everyone, it's Bonehead of the Week, and you voted. You decided who is the Bonehead of the Week. We break it down for you every Friday in the second hour. Here it is.
I love Bonehead of the Week because there are so few, and they tend to be the same people. And let's see who it is.
Oh, Bonehead of the Week. We got several boneheads. We were late last night too. It wasn't because I was stoned. I promise.
Yeah, and it wasn't because I was not stoned either.
Right. Well, I wondered because you weren't like responding. I thought, oh, he's over there. He's like glued to the couch. Oh, honey. Oh, honey. See, look at him. Look at him. No. Here is our Boneheads of the Week. Elon Musk, Dan Bongino, and Speaker Kevin McCarthy. Where should we start?
Ooh, that's a really heavy one. I wonder which one.
I think that's an easy one, right? That's an easy one. He's a target.
Bonehead
Elon
of the Week.
failed his rocket
4
launch.
minutes
but I'll
in,
tell
but
you something else.
plenty of
Elon
data came
really
off
bit
of
the
that.
dust on, because everyone, was talking about Elon's little failed rocket. You know what I mean? Blew up in the air. But did you know he lost like $13 billion the other day? Did you see this?
Yeah, he lost $13 billion yesterday. Yeah, with a B. That's
right.
You know how much? That's the amount of money. I believe 13 billion is the amount that he took the loan out for when it came to purchasing Twitter.
Ouch. So the amount of money that he needs to pay back the loan for Twitter evaporated. yesterday. And this is why when they say like Elon is the richest man in the world, or Bill Gates, or Warren Buffett, or Jeff Bezos, that's all bullshit.
Correct.
It's all fucking bullshit. Their money's all invisible anyways. It's not even real. Like, because within a span of 24 hours, Tesla's earnings are disappointing, which means, and I think this morning Tesla's trying to move to get him off the board. Possibly
maybe finally.
Yeah. They don't want him to have a vote. This guy, they're like, look, man, you're going to have to figure out your fucking strategy here, because you're going to sink this bitch. So
would they finally be at that point? Because it's been, they needed to do this for a while.
Rocket explodes in midair,
needs to go away.
And they try to be like, no, we meant to do that accidentally. Like, what? What are you talking about? We meant to do it accidentally. That was like an intentional accident.
They're trying to argue the fact to be like, oh, well, we were just excited to have anything that was more than the liftoff that happened at ground zero, right?
Right.
And they're like, I get it, right? Like, you're like, oh, this is just like, this is, how do they call it? A draft launch or something like that is how they referred to it yesterday.
Right.
But
they're going to paint it however they can.
Yeah, they're going to be like, oh, look, we're so happy that we were just even close to getting as high as we did. That's great. However, when you try to use rapid unscheduled disassembly as your
rapid
excuse,
unscheduled
right? And then you
disassembly,
on a panel
it exploded.
Like, man, today was an exciting day. Let me tell you, that shit blew up in the air, but it's even better than we thought. And it's like, dude, okay, I get it. You're excited. And yes, that is an accomplishment to get it up there. It's like the biggest fucking rocket that we've launched or whatever.
Single stage.
But also, from the get-go, when you have like 2 engine failures right out of the gate, shit's probably like, what's going on here? Fit's
going to hit the Shan. Fit is going to hit the Shan. Well, Fit hit more Shan yesterday because some of the big
single unit multi. That's the difference. Because
actually,
the heavy has got 3 rockets.
5 engines failed out of the 33 from takeoff.
Right.
Yeah.
5.
So there you go.
5.
Wow. Damn. Well,
5 of the 30 some odd.
He's failing a lot because this Twitter blue check thing, this legacy blue checks, a lot of blue checks, almost all of the legacy blue checks went away yesterday. So a lot of celebrities
added a new icon, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
now it's just a single gold check. So there's a gold badge, right? There's a blue badge, a gold badge, a gray badge. There's the icons that are associated. Yeah.
How are we supposed to keep up with this shit, man?
Then there are the icons that are associated with the organization that you're part of.
Saudi Arabia did not want Twitter running anymore. They thought if they could just sell it to the right person, they could get rid of it the right way.
Like, it's not even outlined. It's just
I don't know if they've done it.
Gold check.
But
so is that paid or is that
3 services?
It says it's a verified.
Instead of just one.
It says this person is a verified organization. But I'm like,
3.
He's a dude though.
With
he's a
verified
services. But also, it's like
instead of
there was that thread that you sent me. I don't know, maybe a couple weeks ago, where the guy was like, "Look, Elon, I'm going to predict it right now. What Elon's going to do is he's going to try and reinvent the verification,
right
for celebrities.
Right. Exactly,
and they're going to get checks, legacy checks,
and nobody's going to do it.
No, I came up with this idea. Like what?
Right.
Nobody's gonna do it.
And so now you have a bunch of unverified celebrity and
which is the original reason for the original blue check.
And now they're, right. I mean, anyone. If you
for those of you who don't understand the history of Twitter, and I believe, number 790 something. When I got on Twitter, I was invited, just like with Facebook, still an invited. Yeah, that's how long ago it was.
Twitter sucks.
Gmail invited.
And I say right now
because I was in the IT groups that got invited to that stuff. So it was lovely when it was just us, and then all of a sudden everybody else came along.
If someone came with a certain amount of money, I don't even care if it wasn't even close to 44 billion. But if it came close and they can make the numbers work, they would like, you're selling, bitch.
Yeah.
So my guess is, I mean, this is just my guess, but I would imagine within the next 2 years, especially after 2024, there's going to be people step in and buy Twitter, and Elon Not only
well, he said in an interview that he was like, I won't sell for anything that's less than what I paid for it. So he's like,
Bullshit.
I want
a lot of stupid shit.
Yeah.
Nope.
He's like, if it's 44 billion or more,
I think right now you could go up to him and offer him 15 billion, and he'd be like, "Yep, here we go, bye bye."
Eating that loss for a while, then.
Yep.
He ain't getting 40. It ain't worth 44 billion. It wasn't worth 44 billion when he bought it. It definitely
It's barely worth 4
is not
billion
worth
right
44
now.
billion after he's taken over. I mean, he's a fucking
Barely
idiot.
worth 4
And
billion.
the
That's
only
why
thing
I
he's
would.
proved
If
is that
you
not
went
only
up and offered him
is
15
Elon
billion
Musk
right
a
now,
goddamn,
he would run away. He would run away with it.
cowardly
He'd be like, "Yep, I'll take it.
human being.
I'll take it.
And a
I'll take it."
liar. But he's a fucking bonehead.
I'll give you 15 billion
appropriate that he
cash
ended
for
up
it
on Bonehead
right
of the Week
now.
this week.
Elon.
Our next one is Dan Bongino.
Right this minute.
Now,
15 billion.
Dan Bongino, for those who don't know, because he wouldn't know him unless I tell you who he is, probably because he's kind of irrelevant. He's an idiot. But he was a contributor on Fox News. He has his own right-wing talk radio show. And the reason why you don't know Dan Bongino is because he blocks everyone on social media that is not a simp. Like, literally, I actually, because people think, like, Dan Bongino is
we could do
or
the
his
15
team
billion.
Is,
It's just we'd all have to get together and actually
Bongolio?
make it back into what it should be, which
Dan
is
Bongino,
a publicly
he
traded
probably has several
company
tools,
on
Gabe
the
Sanchez,
stock
which would be my
market,
guess, that he uses
or
to mass
a
block
hell of a
people.
lot of
So,
us
like,
all getting
if he's
together
gonna
and just
block
buying
A,
the
B, and
shit out of
C,
it.
this tool, what will happen is it'll block all their people
where
who
we want it
interact
to
with them
go
on a regular basis. It'll just mass block. So a lot of times people go to Dan Bongino's page and like, why the fuck did he block me? I didn't even know who this person is. The reason why is because they're using back-end Twitter tools to mass block people so that only their audience sees their shit. Because they don't want you to see their stuff because then you can rebut it. And if you rebut it, a lot of these personalities,
they don't like you.
Especially the snowflakey ones, like Dan Bongino.
They don't like
that
Hal.
pussy-ass
They don't
bitch.
like Tony.
He doesn't
They don't
want
like
you to
any of
rebut
these
his
guys
statement
who
because
actually
he
can
knows
take
you
their
might
shit and
come
go,
with facts.
"No, this is the truth."
But Dan
Not
Bongino
what
is
you're
on
saying.
Fox News. Now, do we got a good clip? I showed
Oh,
one the other
boy.
day, but let's see if we can show a good Bongino
And they
clip.
started renaming
good idea of what
American towns.
But I don't know
and-
if there's one to fire.
and,
Now,
back to the names of the colonies before the Revolution. They stripped away every Fayette County and Lafayette Square and Lafayette Street, for example, in the entire fucking country on their maps. Imagine that for a fucking second. Imagine that happening.
Okay,
and the
I see what you're
reaction
saying.
in the United
What
States
the United States would be.
press about
What if the Dutch started flying into New Amsterdam as opposed to New York?
Exactly.
You know?
Right. Yeah. Get the fuck out of here.
But no.
Yeah, exactly. They renamed all the new Dutch colonies because that's where it originally started out.
We've had our disputes. I mean, there was the submarine issue with the French. What is it? 5 years?
We'll go back to these guys. Sorry.
That they have from non-high traffic hosts.
Okay.
Right? So they're not going to, so Sean.
Well, yeah,
Hannity,
they're going to cut weight. They're going to cut weight
right.
because
Tucker
it's $800
Carlson,
million.
Tucker Carlson's fine. Sean Hannity's fine. Laura Ingraham, I think she's a questionable one.
As long as they're still bringing the money. As long
Well,
as they're still
and
bringing
guys, remember the
Advertising
advertising's just extra.
I don't know if she brings
That's
it,
the
but I saw
extra.
someone break
Because
down
all they've got to do is keep their
like
their
what the viewers were for each of their segments.
Right,
and like
right.
Tucker Carlson's fine, Sean Hannity's
If they
going to be fine.
can keep their
but Laura Ingraham,
current
if you actually look at the audience numbers, she might not be.
cable company numbers,
it makes sense that
they'll
they're
be
cutting,
fine. But if
idiots
they
like
lose
But also,
any of
they're
these
gonna
major
cut the
cable
women
company
first.
numbers,
That's what I was going to say.
they may
It
have
makes sense that
issues
women's
because
going first,
their
and it
major
would make sense
advertisers
from
aren't
their
that
viewing
big.
audience, so why they wouldn't want to hear from women.
Take a
They
look
don't
at
even
who's
want women to have
advertising
their
on there.
choices in healthcare, let alone listen to their opinions. I mean, that's just the way I would think
Fox
that the Fox
News, that
News
is.
audience would believe. Decoding Fox News did our work for us here. She always does. She says, now that Fox News has fired Dan Bongino, I thought it would be a good time to revisit some of his finer moments. That's how you want to put it. She says he talks about the size of his penis, unwashed, smelly Walmart idiots, and some third world bullshit. He also mocks accounts like mine. Well, Dan, at least I have a job. Now, Dan Bongino isn't going to lose his radio show anytime soon. because he gets to say any dumb thing he wants to a microphone. That's what allows us to do it. But he's no longer going to be a contributor on Fox News. But let's watch this clip that Decoding Fox News put together for us.
Listen, I may get fired from Fox after this. That's okay.
Yeah, I
It'll
mean,
probably be about 100 to 120,000 a year. I'm sure.
Say it again. Third world bullshit.
Objection.
Yeah, who the hell's denying elections? Elections happen.
That's a lot of money.
It's not happening in a safe, secure way. That's what we're concerned
You're getting
about.
120,000 a year off of them.
Garbage that happened
It
tonight.
hurts that they all of a sudden said,
We
bye-bye.
don't have to deal with the problems of the smellies. They've said to
It's your
people,
house
"You're not the
payment,
smellies.
kids.
You actually built this place."
My last name's Bongino. Probably don't want to tell him who's
Bet
got a
you
bigger
anything.
crank.
You can plan a
He
big
may have
one
just
on
lost
that.
his
You
entire
don't
house
get-
payment.
Everything's been the dipsy do flipperoos happen. Like everything's been flipped
Just
in their
from
heads,
this.
right? Going, listen, you're great
Oh, good, that's not
unwashed, smelly Walmart idiots.
I thought that was my
liberal zeros out there who watch this network all the time. I mean, some of them, their only
Mouse.
job is to watch our shows, which is kind of humiliating. But that's for another day.
There you have it. Decoding Fox News giving us some, I guess you would call him his finest moments. Did he say, did he say crank? Did he refer to his dick as his crank?
Yeah. Tomorrow I
Also,
make it a
but like
little
when
while
I
for just a wee bit. I'm only going to get it till 11 today.
What about his last name
In
would
20
imply that
minutes,
he would
we'll
have
be
a
going
big
I don't
crank.
know. Well, I don't know. Bongino, look up the
For
word
sure.
Bongino. Is there a definition of
It just means big dick.
big dick creature? Is that what it, I don't know what that means.
Just comment
maybe it's
over it.
maybe it's the
with them.
ethnicity
But hold on,
component
let's
of
just make
Bongino.
sure
Maybe
we're-
I don't
fucking
know.
time.
It's Italian.
I was trying
Right,
to
well,
find
yeah,
an
but is he
analogy
saying Italians
that
have huge
could
dicks?
help people grasp what like vivid and spectacular and glittery horseshit that is that imagine, if you will, the U.S. population is a loaf of bread.
Unicorn?
And the U.S. GDP
Unicorn
is a stick
shit?
of butter. That's how much it is. All the money in the U.S.
Unicorn piss?
is a stick of butter. And all the people in
Sparkly
the
shit?
U.S. is a loaf of bread. And with one stick of
Unicorn
butter
shit.
and one loaf of bread, it's fairly even. Definitely there's some issues with some, the early bread bits get a little more than their fair share. And by the time you're at the end of the loaf, you're a little thin on butter, but it's all there. You can complete the loaf. And then remember that China has 5 loaves of bread and a half a stick of butter. And then go look at Iceland and or fucking Luxembourg or Switzerland or any other UK, like any of the European countries.
European
Look at them and go, they have 2 slices of bread and a quarter of a stick of butter. They're fucking fine, and it's spread more evenly across their people than
Exactly.
than it arguably is here. Although
Even
that's
though
debatable,
here-
and I'm willing to have that debate at
Right.
any given time because there's a lot been
Agreed.
made out of like Northern European fantasy land ideas that they have problems with
They have
super right wingers partly because of how
exactly.
they spread their butter a little thin.
Exactly.
But
very, very
the
thin
other
on a
thing
lot of
is
states.
that half of China's half
They've
a stick
also
of butter
got a
is
supremacy
actually
problem,
wax.
too.
It's not even fucking butter. And half of their
Homogeneous
bread is
populations.
moldy
Populations that
and
no
dry
longer
and will
make
need
any
more
sense.
butter to go
because
down
we don't
than the
travel
fresh
that way
pieces.
anymore.
So you're gonna
To
you're
have a
spreading
heavier
what you have
group of
even
certain,
thinner
yes,
across all
that makes sense because of living in that area and people
it
not
is-
traveling out as much. But
like,
there should be a
and
greater
again,
mix,
why would
and
that
that's the
make you
problem. Is countries are saying no, and they
biggest
need to stop
economy in the
doing
world?
that.
You're not. You're spreading.
Get rid of the homogeneousness,
so many.
and you'll
Look at
find a
India.
lot of
and again,
what you need
okay, so
happen.
the big thing: India buying Russian oil, right? We've heard
Oh,
the
hold
big
on.
story about India.
Hold on. When you get into Marjorie,
She cucked herself so hard.
God, she
in
made
that,
her.
in that committee.
She unfolded the chair, put it in the dark corner, and sat in the dark to watch as the cucking commenced. Because
Sorry, I didn't
it
switch
was
back
it
and
was
forth
Dan
between these
Goldman
two.
and Benny Thompson that put her in her place.
I should have gone back to these guys.
Let's see.
Sorry.
I could probably just search
I will,
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
as I get through these shows and I figure out where I'm
about
going to put
everything,
I will
Asen had
at this, because what I will actually do is I will have these set up as macros.
Asen and just
so that
Green.
I have the start
Asen
macro,
Green? Is that,
the first macro,
oh,
the
Jim
second
Jeffries
macro,
dug into her too.
That one, third macro.
Oh, here we go.
Go back to the
so I'm gonna play that
so
one.
I can go
too.
back and forth between
There's
these two
Swalwell
without
digging
having
into her.
touch anything
As you
else,
guys
but
know,
like one little
Jim
button
Jeffries
on my
is, or excuse me,
deck.
Hakeem Jeffries.
I like my
always
stream
get
deck.
Hakeem Jeffries.
Does a
Who
lot
the
of
fuck is
crap.
Jim Jeffries?
Jim Jeffries is a comedian.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's why I get it turned around. Hakeem Jeffries is great. But here's one clip. Eric Swalwell went after Marjorie Taylor Greene. Then we'll get into how
thank you for playing
this
one again. I want everybody. I want
Right,
to
let's
have a
watch it.
copy
I'm
of these
disturbed about
so I
a
can
recent tweet
talk
from
about
the former
these.
president that says Republicans in Congress should
Because she be a
defund
bitch.
the Department of Justice and the FBI.
She be the kind of bitch that we used to talk
I'm also
about in
concerned
school and go,
about
"Oh, bitch."
people on this committee
These
and
bitch.
their own
What's wrong with you,
anti-police
bitch?
rhetoric. This is a defund the FBI
What's
campaign
wrong with you,
effort.
bitch?
Again, thousands of FBI agents who work hard every day to take bad guys off the street.
Now, this is a campaign effort, but I really think Eric Swalwell missed an easy target here. Not only is she wanting to defund the police, she's wanting to grift off of it as well.
Yeah.
Like you're not just having a fancy little meme that you're posting on your on your social media. You're like, hey, come buy a T-shirt and defund the police.
A day after Biden's FBI raided and ransacked President Trump's home, they've now confiscated House Freedom Caucus Chair Scott Perry's cell phone. Well, look, man, if you don't commit a crime, then you don't have to do the time, right? Like if you didn't steal documents that you didn't own, then no one would have to go into your home to fucking find it.
You
if
wouldn't
you
be
didn't
able to
use
do
your
it
cell
stripped.
phone to plot, I don't know, fake electors and overthrow the government and on the election in 2020 or in 2021, January 6th, then no one would have to look through your fucking cell phone. It's easy. Don't commit a crime and you won't have to worry about the FBI or the Department of Justice coming after you, confiscating your property, and then saying, hey, you're guilty and you now have to go do the time, right?
Well, you know what's funny about that is this week, not only did Marjorie Taylor Greene continue to call to defund the FBI, but she wants the FBI when it suits her best interest.
Oh, yes. Remember,
so
these people are very, very, very,
here she
very,
is
very,
with
very,
Ali
very
Alexander in this
transparent.
feud with Ali Alexander
Very
about Milo Yiannopoulos and
transparent.
Laura Loomer and Nick Fuentes. And she's caught in this battle, and she wants the FBI to investigate Ali Alexander. Of course she does, because it's only for her shit is only for thee, not for me. Right? She wants to defund the FBI when they're coming after her, but when she needs the FBI, then she wants them on her side. Now here's the other reason why she got cucked like 3 times this week.
Yeah, it was crazy, man.
Yeah, it's been a rough week for Marge over there. The Petty Yeti gets handed her ass again here in a committee hearing. Watch this as she has an outburst and calls Mayorkas a liar.
A liar.
Outrage.
You're a
Complete
liar.
outrage. Where China is poisoning America's children, poisoning our teenagers, poisoning our young people. How long are you going to let this go on?
Congresswoman, let me assure you that we're not letting it go on. We are fighting this.
No, I reclaim my time. You're a liar. You are letting this go on. And the numbers.
Can't do that. Nope. Sorry.
Actually, I want you to.
Ouch. So just to tee this up for you, here's Benny Thompson. If you guys don't remember who Benny Thompson, and he was the chairman of the January 6th Select Committee and did a fabulous job making sure the American people knew all the evidence that they possibly could. And then the TikTok and the real-time events of January 6th and how Donald Trump and allies like Marjorie Taylor Greene tried to steal away our government and shit on our Constitution by inciting a violent insurrection. But listen to what he does here, how he stops Marjorie Taylor Greene right in her tracks. Listen.
Well, actually, I want you to take the words of the speaker down.
So in making a ruling on this, it's pretty clear that the rules state you can't impugn someone's character. Identifying or calling someone a liar is unacceptable in this committee.
Can't do that.
Doesn't it feel like to you that Representative Green, Chairman Green here, not Marjorie
did not
Taylor,
want to do that.
Mr. Green here, he really didn't want to do this.
He did not want to do that.
Fuck, man.
He's like, I don't want to do that.
Forcing me to do this because he's like, well, the rules do say. I mean, if it was kind of gray, I'd let it stand. But what the fuck do you want me to do, you crazy lunatic?
Yeah.
When
It's
Benny
like,
Thompson
you
knows the
did it,
rules
so
more
now-
than you, you're fucked. Right.
Right. So now I've got to. All right, fine. We're gonna play this game. All right.
Right. He doesn't like it, but he gavels it down. Watch.
Because he has no
make the
choice.
ruling that we strike those words.
Yep.
Now, notice his language, okay? If you listen to Benny Thompson, he says take down. Now, he says strike, right?
Yeah.
Which now, here's where
Dan Goldman
Martin
says,
Taylor Green really
hold my
gets
beer
stuck
because
by
I know the
Daniel
law.
Goldman. Right, Daniel Goldman's
I
a
know the
trained
law
attorney.
real well
He's been in
because
Congress. He's
I really went to school
represented,
to really do this shit because I didn't have to go to school for anything else. I really want to do this shit.
By being their legal counsel.
Yeah, understand that.
Questions as
Dan
legal
Goldman went
counsel
to school
in
to be a
impeachment
lawyer
hearings,
because
but now he's
he
a
wanted to
congressman.
be
Listen
one.
to what Congressman
Not because he
Goldman
had
says
to.
about
He's
the
a
difference
rich
between strike and
grandkid
takedown.
who's actually doing good with his richness.
Sorry, just a point of order, legitimate question. You're recognized. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Goldman
Did you
is
move
a
to take
rich
the words
kid.
down or to
Levi
strike them?
Strauss rich kid.
Mr. Thompson. Yeah, sorry, I just stepped in.
Third gen,
Yeah.
not even second.
Take it
Third
down.
gen. His grandfather made the money.
Yeah, my understanding is if words are taken down, that means that the member can no longer speak in whatever the proceeding is that those words were said.
Personal inquiry. Point of personal inquiry.
There is no such thing.
By just
So
personal inquiry.
There is no
I don't
such
know if you guys
thing.
caught this because this is the thing. Government's really boring, Gabe Sanchez.
Yeah,
it is.
Government's kind of boring, right?
But government's
That's why
based
these
on
fucking stupid
everything
people
that
like
we
to
base
sensationalize
our entire society on for
Martin Taylor Green,
eons.
Bobert Gatz, Jim Jordan.
How
They
we
like to
deal
make
with
these big moments
governance
for
in
Fox News and
business
these
too.
hearings. Most of the time, government's policies boring. Government's boring. Budgets are boring. This shit is boring. I mean, it matters. It matters a lot. Like these things have huge impacts on our lives and our country's lives.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
the country as a whole and how it runs and operates.
But how it operates
Setting
too.
policy.
That's the
But
problem.
generally, it's pretty
You have to
boring. That's why
understand
even in this
what
moment, you're like, well, Tony, this is
personal
supposed to
inquiry.
be like a
What?
gotcha thing. Yeah, see, the problem is she just walked into a pool of her own shit.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
not only did she break the rules, now she's trying to operate outside the rules. And Daniel Goldman is smarter than she is.
No,
Way
you don't
smarter
do.
than she
These
is.
are the
and
rules.
has
You
just,
don't
I
get to
know,
talk anymore.
paid
You're
attention to
now
what the fuck
done.
the rules are, so he can do his what's it called that they're hired to do by being elected? What is that called?
Job.
Is it a job? Is it a job?
Yeah.
Job.
No, it's a hard J, a
Is
soft J.
job.
Right, it might be, right.
Job.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not
job.
Sure. But he's trying to do his job. Let's finish up here.
Job.
How she gets dunked in the trash.
House, when we strike, it does terminate the time of the individual.
Yes,
who is
it
speaking.
does, and they no longer have the ability
gentlelady
to
is no
speak.
longer recognized.
No more. She's done for the day. You're done.
Now, again, there is a time and a place for all of you folks out there trying to figure out why you would break the rules in the committee hearing, because there is a time and a place to break the rules to make a point. But it's not to get yourself silenced
because
unintentionally. Like that's not the way that you do it.
Nope.
She looks like a fool because she is, and she looks like a bonehead because she definitely is a bonehead, and she's this week's Outlook.
If you're going to impugn them, you impugn them with truth.
Special audible call.
That's the problem. If you're not going to do it, I should say, if you're going to do it correctly. Do it with the truth. Because you can be thrown out for actually telling the truth. So just make sure you're telling the truth. She wasn't.
Breaking news as of
breaking news,
just like an hour or so ago.
Okay, this is CNN.
CNN exclusive text messages reveal that Trump operatives considered using breached voting data to decertify Georgia's Senate runoff in 2021.
Whoa, what does this mean?
So what we have here is in mid-January 2021, two men were hired by former President Trump's legal team, discussed over text about what they would do with data obtained with a breached voting machine in a rural county in Georgia, including whether to use it as part of an attempt to decertify the Trump's pending state runoff
in
results.
2021.
The
what?
text sent 2
So they're
weeks
still
after
doing
officers
this
breached
shit.
a voting machine in Coffee
And
County, Georgia,
they're
revealed
still not
for the first
understanding.
time that Trump allies considered using voting data not only to overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election, but also in an effort to keep a Republican hold in the U.S. Senate.
So
isn't that good?
So
not
for
good.
people to understand the TikTok of this,
Yeah.
the 2020 election gave us a runoff in Georgia because Georgia state law, if you remember, what happens is if there's not there has to be someone who gets over 50%.
There's a really
if there's not someone who gets
long-ass
over
set of
50%, they have a special
that are
runoff
in your
race in the
phone.
state of Georgia.
And I'm not
and
showing
so that
all of
happened
mine. You can't see
in 2021.
But there's a long-ass set of numbers.
And we know
And
the result
those
of that
numbers
now was
are transmitted all the time.
Ossoff and Warnock winning those runoff races.
Right.
And it may not
so
just be
because
Wi-Fi.
they won, that gave us
May
the
not
Senate.
just be cell phone.
Not
But
by
those
one
numbers
vote,
tell
but
a
by
lot about
tiebreaker
where
from
you're
Kamala
at
Harris at the
and what's
time,
going on.
which also
with where
resulted
you're at.
in us having the majority, but not the entire majority. We had to cede some of the majority to Mitch McConnell because it was a 50-50. So we didn't get the full power of the committees, which we have now because everyone got out in 2022
Correct.
and not only said fuck you to the red wave, made sure to put 51 senators as Democrats,
Correct.
giving them the actual majority, which
Correct.
gives them the actual power of the majority
Correct.
now in the Senate.
Correct.
So, and again, the
hopefully,
runoff race,
even after next year, if we do what I think we're going to,
let me read.
we will maintain
it. Says, here is the plan.
It may be tight still, but we will maintain it.
This is the former
I think there's going to be, because these kids are a little pissed.
Powell.
And if they do what I think they're going to do
Man,
today,
that's a really bad name. You know why that's
they're probably
a bad
not
name?
going to do it until late tonight. But
Dominion's
they'll do it
also got
today.
their lawsuit.
If they do what I think they do with the Misopresto,
I'm sure.
yeah,
I'm
this
sure,
court is done. They
I'm
know
sure
that they are done.
Ben
They are
Marzelis
moving fast
or,
because, like Tony
Popak
said,
can
they
talk
have
about
to.
This, but I mean,
You have to do
one
autocracy
can infer
quickly.
from this
You have to
that
make sure all the
this is
laws are in
fucking
place
RICO
as quickly
charges,
as you
man.
possibly can.
Like the connection
before you
between-
get run out
between
of the court.
Them trying to do this and Trump, like, it's not like, oh, I made some perfectly good phone calls to Georgia. Yeah, it's a lot worse than fuck than that, man.
Well, I want to read this to you, this paragraph here. It says, the plot to breach voting systems in Coffee County, coordinated by members of Trump's legal team, including Rudy Giuliani and Sidney Powell, as part of a broader criminal investigation into the 2022 election interference led by Fulton County District Attorney Fannie Willis. So it really feels like we're getting closer. Now, there was some slight news out of Fannie Willis's grand
I
jury
think
the
Jack
other
might
day.
be first because
Speaking of
I
the
think
grand
Jack is a
jury
little
down
closer
in Georgia. It
than
seems
Fawny,
like
because Fawny's
that,
also got to go through.
they're
I
trying
think
to
she's got to go through another
some deals done with
full
state
grand jury,
legislators
whereas
who was trying
as
prevent
Jack is actually doing his grand juries right now, and his grand jury about the
which we know is
lying about the grifting off of the lying. Who knows? This is all coming very quickly. And like I said, I knew it was going to come around April. It was going to come around April, May, because that's 18 months after all this shit happened.
The next level to turn to the next level until they have enough
18
evidence
months
for
to
the
2
one or two
years.
motherfuckers at the top, and everyone else has turned on them. And we have that evidence that people are turning is because one of the lawyers of the defendants, who was subpoenaed and had given testimony to the grand jury, the lawyer was taken off the case.
Right.
And the reason why is because the lawyer never presented the immunity.
The
that
lawyer
were
for
given to
10
their client.
of the
And it's
people.
really,
10.
Right, it's kind of gray at this point of
10.
exactly the TikTok and the facts of it.
Right.
Of when
Why was there a
'cause I
single
think the
attorney for
attorney should be
10
right.
people?
Yeah. So basically, what
Something
happened
don't
was,
smell
you know,
right
for anyone who
there.
doesn't know, like, let's say that.
It
the other
may be
side,
because that's the way we keep law
the
in a white
prosecution is like,
supremacist
hey, for your
system.
defendant, we'll
You'll
offer
make sure
them
that you
this
only
deal.
have so many
As a
attorneys
as
that
a
can
lawyer,
work on it. By making sure that it's way too expensive for
subjective
anybody
kind of
else to get
interpretation or
any
bias or whatever.
good
You have
representation.
to go to your client and say, hey, legally, I have to present you with this option. Do I think it's the best option? Yes or no, whatever. But you still have to offer that to them, right? Because now what's happened is, if the lawyer never presents it, and then the
If
lawyer
you never
let's say, goes
present
back to
your
the prosecution
client
and says,
with
oh, well, they
a
don't accept
fair
the deal,
deal,
you're
then
breaking
you
the law
are
there
actually
in the sense of
fucking with your client. You're fucking your client
about
over.
this potential deal.
You are
right?
screwing
they
your
never
client
knew
over.
that they could,
and your client
they
has
could
every
get a
right
deal
to
of
sue the
immunity to
shit
speak out
out
and
of
flip
you
on these
when
other
you
people,
when
right?
they lose.
So there's a big problem that's happening there, which is
They
were
may have
not
10
privy to this
cases
information,
of
this deal.
malpractice
And so
and
it's
an
actually
attorney
legally is
who
not
is now
fair
going to be
to
disbarred
this,
because
to
you know
their,
why do you go into law if you're gonna you went into law to break it.
And so what happened is the lawyer never presented, she said that she presented,
Or you was
and then
that
now
you were
we're
right,
finding
white,
out that
white,
there's
right
more details
supremacist enough
as to what really
to
went on.
give
And
up
so now
your
she's been
entire
removed
practice.
from the case because she's not doing her job, right?
Well,
But
and
you know what
I
I'm
feel like
saying?
there was also a mention of like conflict of interest.
That's the reason you're going for Trump.
The other problem that they have here,
You know,
is
kind of
it
like that
appears the reason
H
why
guy in Germany.
she wouldn't present the immunity.
You know, when
to her
you're
client
actually
is because
doing
that would
things
give
for
her
a
client
person and not your
leeway and the
country
runway to turn
and the
on, I don't know, maybe a dishonorable mention that we have this week, Donald Trump. So it seems like Fannie Willis is getting closer and closer, and Donald Trump should be getting a little more shitty in his diaper
Nervous.
about rather the
Little bit
state
more
of Georgia
nervous.
brings felony charges or not against him, Rudy Giuliani, Sidney Powell, and others. You know what's going to be unique? Because everyone had this big fanfare about the 34 felonies in the state of New York. And really, I was like, yeah, that's not surprising that he had 34 felonies on business fraud. The guy's been committing business fraud his entire life. It should not be surprising. What's going to really be like, you're going to be like, whoa, goddamn. Now, I don't know who's going to go first. Fanny or Jack, right? We don't know who's going to be first. Jack be nimble. Jack be quick. Please, Jack, indict this prick.
Please,
but
Jack be
if
quick.
Fannie Willis gets there first,
Jack
right?
be a little
I think
quicker?
the significant thing
Just a
about
wee
these
bit
two
quicker.
cases, whether it's the special counsel's case with January 6th or the Fannie Willis Georgia state elector scheme case, I think those two cases are going to wrap in a bunch of people, right? It's not just going to be Donald Trump.
Well, because
going
she's
and getting
talking
arraigned.
about doing a RICO
now, the
case.
documents case
So
has
understand
the
a
chance of
RICO
just Donald
case is
Trump
going to
getting
have
arraigned.
a lot
That
of
has
people
the opportunity.
in it.
Right, so if
And
Jack
a
Smith
lot
moves
of
on the documents case first,
complexity, though.
it could be just
So
Donald
that
Trump
could
being
be a
charged
problem.
with federal crimes and indicted from this grand jury that Jack Smith has convened. But the other two cases, the January 6th and the Georgia case, there's going to be a ton of people being indicted all at once, not just Trump. So you're going to see him and a bunch of other dumb motherfucking boneheads sitting there being indicted. And I can't wait. I'm excited. I think that's going to be great. It's going to be great for our country, too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're going to be like, oh, this is political persecution. Again,
It's all politics.
if you don't want to be convicted of a crime, and
Don't
go to
do a
jail,
crime.
then don't crime.
Thank
Stop
you. Just
criming.
don't do a crime.
And if you don't want them to be political crimes, stop committing political crime.
Crimes.
Jesus Christ, it's not complicated. Speaking
Stop
of political
criming.
criminals,
Just stop criming.
Oh, bonehead of the week,
Woo!
Kevin McCarthy. Welcome, my friend. Woo! This guy always puts on the Cheeto Dust knee pads and Genuflex. He's the winner of Bonehead of the Week.
Whoa.
But what's the reason why we had him on the poll yesterday for Bonehead of the Week? It was almost like there was something like Republicans are like, oh, we support the veterans, and then they don't. Is that what it was?
There's a few. There's that. We support the veterans,
there's that
but we
one,
don't.
yeah.
But then also it's like, hey, we are going to use the basically we're going to hold the country hostage, right? In terms of if we like default on our our situation right now, right? Like, and then it goes into Wall Street and goes, oh well, we've done this before, and we do it when we what was the phrasing? He said, introduce economic changes, I think is the phrasing. I could be misquoting, but he was on.
Let's see. Is this? We've got a small majority of America behind us. We're the only ones with the plan to help save America. Let's see if this is
Oh
on
my
Fox
God!
News
It
this
doesn't
morning.
even matter.
This is Kevin McCarthy. Probably
Because they still don't have a
slave planting.
plan. What's their plan? There's no plan.
The Democrats are not going to try to help us, but they're going to wish we win. We've got a small majority, but we've got America behind us. Every conservative
you don't.
endorsed this
Have
plan.
they?
This is a plan that gets
Is
us
it?
forward, that saves us money. And
It
puts us
does?
on
When he says
How?
saves us money, do you know
How?
what that means? when he says saves us money,
It saves
he means we're going to give all the money
taxes.
to the rich.
Yeah,
and fuck
we're going
you
to save
poor
taxes
Right.
on the rich.
I mean, because if you
We're
go,
gonna stop
you look at,
taxing
I think
the
it was
rich.
MSNBC, right? That was the clip where he was on the floor, the trading floor, and he was giving the interview and just got fucking owned by, I forget her name, but
Yeah,
the
because she's
co-host
like,
of the
but
show,
you guys put 25%
where he
on
tried
there.
to go in and talk about
while we make it economic changes.
I feel like
economic changes and put a quarter of that fucking deficit on there.
Let's see if I.
You
This
dipshit.
is it. This is it right here.
Yeah.
This is where he gets called out on how he voted 3 times under Trump.
Thank you.
Let's listen.
And think about it. A debt ceiling is like giving your child a credit card.
No, it's not.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to stop there.
Is
okay?
not.
So this is the Speaker of the House. He's been a congressman for a long time. This motherfucker knows who is the one who appropriates the credit card and who is increasing the limit.
That is not true.
It is the House of Representatives. Okay? All of them. Not just this one. This national debt thing didn't just start in 2021 when Joe Biden was sworn in. You motherfuckers.
Exactly.
Wait, you're telling me? Wait, hold on. You're telling me it didn't start when he came in office?
No.
Like, this isn't all Joe Biden's fault?
Right.
No.
So in this example where we're giving our child a credit card, the child in that scenario is Kevin McCarthy. It's Congress. They're the child. Him. He's the fucking speaker. He was the minority leader before he was speaker.
The
for crying out loud. This guy's been a congressman forever. He's the child with the credit card.
Thank you.
Now listen.
Charge the limit all the way up. Would you just raise the limit? No. You would sit
if it
down.
meant playing with America's standing,
no.
full faith and credit of U.S. government debt,
but if
I feel like you can deal with the spending in other ways, which is totally legitimate.
So if you just raise the debt ceiling, do you think $31 trillion of debt?
You put that. You put 25% of that on there, dude.
You did it 3 times.
You put 25% of it on there too.
We never raised it.
What?
That was like $2 trillion.
She's like, yeah, you did economic. Yeah. You did changes. You added to the fucking
you
asshole.
You made these cuts back in 2017 with this jobs bill. It turns out that, as predicted, with people who are actual economic experts and people on the left were like,
you
look,
put
we
25% of that on
jobs
there.
bill, and we allow these tax cuts. Like, the people who are going to end up paying for the shit are the middle and lower class. But people in the upper class, the wealthy, this one of the 1%, this top, the rich group, you're gonna find that those are the people that benefit because they're gonna end up paying less. Like in the first year, like, oh look, they're paying taxes, but in the next year and the following years, those taxes, that burden is put onto everyone else but them.
Exactly.
So when you go, oh yeah, we did
and
it.
Plus,
these economic
remember,
changes we introduced,
the permanent
taxes
so great,
stayed with the rich. And they're so grateful.
Rest
and blah,
of it,
blah, 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 blah. Well, yeah, the
rest of it was a temporary to us.
Okay, we're pissed off.
Literally,
that we have to pay more.
Temporary.
And he's like, oh, we got and then Kevin McCarthy wants to pull his fucking bullshit later on where he talks about inflation and this and that, and it's like you guys don't fucking understand this, do you? Like, you understand?
No, they understand it, but this is their game.
If we pass this thing,
this is the game that they keep
we'll
playing.
Get the benefit as the wealthy. We'll get the benefit,
right?
But we don't have to worry about who fucking foots the bill later on,
right?
Well, yeah, no, because
give it to the rich.
It's them. Listen. It is for thee, not me.
Right. It is for thee. Always for them, not for us.
To thee. But let's listen to
us got temporary relief. Them got permanent relief.
Let's see if he thinks that Kevin McCarthy has the votes on the Republican side for this stupid fucking budget that he has. He's had months to do this. Months, folks. Ever since December, he had, before he became the Speaker of the House, to develop a bill that could be passed. And Kevin McCarthy hasn't doing it because Kevin McCarthy was focused too much on putting his Cheeto Dust knee pads on how to keep his own power than to work for the American people. But let's see how this you tall Republican congressman feels about if he has the votes.
Speaker McCarthy can only lose 4 House Republican votes and still get the bill passed because no Democrats are going to vote for it. Does the speaker have the votes?
I'll go in tomorrow for sure.
I don't think he does right now, and I think
I
that's
gotta run by and get my blood work good.
Right now.
I just did that. I guess it has been a while. Because it seems like I remember getting on the bike and running up there because I love going up there on the bike. It's
So
just an
I know
easy
what
trip
it is here, Gabe.
early
I
in the
know what it
morning.
is about not having the votes.
That's what I'm going to do tomorrow morning.
Is
Get
they
up in the
floated
morning
this
and
plan to see
make
where the
another
holes
ride
would
up to the
fall.
hospital.
This veterans thing is really falling
Fun
flat.
stuff.
Where they're like, yeah, we support the troops, but we
But
don't
you're not.
actually, because we don't
No,
want
you're
them to
not.
have fucking benefits. So
You
we're
don't
gonna
want to give them
strip their
benefits. You
benefits
don't
away
want to
from
do the
them.
hospitals
Like,
the right
what
way.
the fuck? So immediately,
They could
everyone's
literally
like, Jesus Christ,
double
you people
the way
trying to
that they
your
do
budget
the
cuts, the first
VA
thing you
by
go for is,
literally
like,
giving
children's
most of the
education and
VA
veterans.
to somebody
Yeah,
like
of course.
go
I mean,
Kaiser, Blue
it's
Cross,
just
Blue
fucking
Shield.
pets. That's what they say, right? Like you look
Because
at you
they
look
actually
at,
Well, that's
have
not what
full
they say, but that's what
hospitals
they
and
do.
full
Well,
systems
I mean, you look at the State of
that
the
they could
Union. Last
piggyback
year's State
on.
of the Union, you had
Literally
Joe
say to
Biden
them,
talking
here
about
in San
veterans,
Francisco,
right?
you need to put one more hospital,
the fucking
and we'll give you this.
pits, right? In terms of
You put in one more hospital, we'll give you
harmful
all of the
effects
VA because then you can also show us that you can do the
veterans
specialties
need
that the
actual
VA
healthcare
is
for,
doing
right?
now.
Because they were exposed to the burn pits.
Or you
And
take
he's
over
saying,
that
hey, we
VA
need to-
hospital and
this
you
is something
take
we
it
need
over
to-
correctly.
We need to think about, right? We need to actually invest in. We need healthcare.
We could
for
do
our
that,
veterans,
but no.
People who have been exposed to the burn pits.
Nope.
Lauren Boebert.
Nope.
Decides
Because
to get
there
up
are
and
nonprofits
fucking
that would
bitch
love to
about
take it
how
over and do it right.
Joe Biden is not doing that, right? And he's not actually.
And there are a
caring
couple
about
of
the veterans. He
nonprofits
let the veterans die
out
and this
there.
and this and that. And then 2 days later, State of the Union was on a Tuesday.
Not saying they're perfect
2
either,
days later on a
because they're not
Thursday,
either.
Lauren
Kaiser's
Boebert
not
votes
perfect.
no
Blue Cross Blue Shield is
on
nowhere
allowing
near perfect
veterans
at
to get
all.
health care.
But it would be
for
nice if we
those
had
who have
an
been
all
exposed to the burn
not-for-profit
pits.
healthcare
So
system.
you can see that they want, and I
without
forget
the
who
religious part.
I think his last name is Jackson.
That part that doesn't
rep
believe
from,
in the
North
actual
Carolina who played.
religion that they say
I
they
mean,
believe
what he
in.
says, there are probably some people who really
Because
do believe this stuff,
healthcare
right?
is
Who really do feel like they have to act
You mean
out.
the dumb,
saving
stupid
lives.
shit that they
Yeah,
say.
yeah.
Not
But then there are other people who obviously are looking for that like 15 minutes of fame, or they want their little interview on Fox News with Tucker Carlson and
Right.
Sean Hannity.
Right.
And so there are people on there like Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Taylor
I
Greene who
agree.
get up and
Totally.
like fucking yell like banshees in the fucking jungle
Yep.
at Joe Biden, looking for that moment to
Yep.
be like, oh yeah, we're gonna get on TV, we're gonna get spotlight, we're gonna be able to talk about this or whatever. And it's clear that they don't care. They don't give one fucking shit about any of these people, any veterans, any children, any parents, any mothers, anyone.
no.
They only care about themselves. And it's proven when they say shit out loud and then just days later, they vote against the very thing they were complaining about, right? Instead of being a part of the solution, they continue to be the problem, right?
Well, they certainly are the problem.
Yeah.
Now, I don't play a lot of Joe Biden clips, but because of what Kevin McCarthy's trying to do with not only veterans
5285?
benefits, but Social Security and Medicare as well, for some of the people most in need in this country. This is the President of the United States at a speech at the International Union of Operating Engineers, the Local 77 in Maryland. He was talking about the federal debt ceiling and the economy on this issue the other day. And C-SPAN picked this up. And then again, I don't play a lot of Biden clips, but I feel like in the moment of making Kevin McCarthy the bonehead of the week, because he's not only is he trying to cut veterans benefits through his new little budget that he thinks Joe Biden's going to negotiate with him on, but he doesn't understand what Joe Biden's been saying the entire time is that the debt ceiling is, we're not going to negotiate over the debt ceiling. We'll negotiate a budget, but you are not going to negotiate with me, the President of the United States, over this debt ceiling issue. You're just not going to do it. Listen.
Well, because there's not enough. We'll have more in later.
Mega Republicans in Congress are threatening to default on the national debt, the debt that took 230 years to accumulate overall, unless we do what they say. They say they're going to default unless I agree to all these wacko notions they have.
Which is fine. 52 is not that bad. I have it.
It would be worse than totally irresponsible. It would mean cuts in Social Security and Medicare, higher interest rates for things like credit cards, car loans, mortgages. Working people, middle class, seniors would pay.
Sorry, going just a little over,
and
we'll end in a minute.
America's never defaulted on our debt, which has accumulated over 200 years.
Thank you.
Let's remember, the last administration alone increased the national debt by 40% in 4 years. Yet every single year they passed the debt limit. Every single year.
Yes, they sure did, and that's because they're fucking hypocrites. And Joe Biden should take the stance. Hey, man, you can let the debt ceiling run out, whatever you want to do, but you're not holding the American people hostage here. So it's your choice. Do you want to do your fucking job for the American people, or do you not? And I think that's the right stance.
Thank you.
I think ultimately, and anyone out there that's scared of the debt ceiling being busted through, I think we're not going to have that fear, and they're going to.
I mean, Republicans don't care about that shit. I mean, they're what they're doing right now is trying to make a fucking, we'll call it like a mountain out of a molehill, right? Like they're trying to make a bigger problem out of it than it. I mean, like, yes, would it be? It's not great that we continue to add, money to our total debt, but at the same time,
but we've actually gotten it down. That's the other problem, is that they
from adding to it before. Exactly. Whenever they feel that it's necessary, whenever they feel that it benefits them, whenever they feel like they have the ability and power and influence to do so because they just can, they will, right? 9 times, 10 times out of 10, they're gonna do it. They're gonna benefit themselves. They're gonna benefit their donors and the wealthy class that is backing their party. And when it comes to actually supporting childcare, education, mothers, just parents, our veterans, anytime it actually does something that would be pro-American, right? Pro the people, the constituents that they are supposed to represent, they're like, oh, no, we can't. Can you only imagine what it would add to the fucking deficit?
Right. It's always about, we can't afford that. We can't afford that.
How can
we as people can't afford that? You know what? We could literally take
literally cutting this for the wealthy. You had no problem adding that
off of our
to the
defense
taxpayer
budget
as their bill, right?
Just 10% off of our of
well,
that.
almost every single president,
fund every dime of education, preschool through your master's degree. No fucking joke on just that. Just take 13% of the budget from, and you know what that would actually do? It would mean you couldn't buy a bunch of planes and shit. So yeah, you might not have as many jobs in the middle Ohio, but guess what you would have? The most educated populace ever, putting out some of the most brilliant ideas ever, because that's what happens when you have a brilliant populace. You get a lot of ideas and a lot of different companies and a lot of different things that start up. But we'd rather fill the pool in.
What's at stake if you don't increase the debt limit? Mm-hmm. In fact, there's a previous president that has a stance on this.
Yep.
Let's see if we can bring him into what his opinion is on this situation. Oh, looky here. Wait a second. I would assume that this guy's going to say in this clip, break the debt ceiling, fuck the debt ceiling, to hell with it.
When I start doing it, I'm going to figure out how I can kind of do it like he does it.
Let's see what he says.
I can't imagine anybody ever even thinking of using the debt ceiling as a negotiating wedge.
Whoa, what?
Whoa, what?
What? Well, okay, so it looks like there's a date on here.
What was that?
July 19, 2019. And he can't believe that there would be anyone on the planet Earth that would suggest that they could use the debt ceiling as a negotiating.
What?
Oh, man. It's like there's a clip for everything.
Debt ceiling, what?
Isn't there?
There's a tweet or there's a video for sure.
There's something out there, these fucking boneheads. Let's listen.
When I first came into office, I asked about the debt ceiling.
Oh, yeah? Who
you did?
Some people who know about the debt ceiling?
You
Let's
did.
See who he
asked about the debt ceiling. He asked about the debt ceiling. I want to hear this.
He doesn't know anything about it. Not a fucking thing.
Debt ceiling.
Uh-huh.
And I said, I remember to Senator Schumer and to Nancy Pelosi.
Whoa.
And to Nancy.
Wait a second. Was he taking advice?
Did he say something from Nancy to
Nancy? Are you listening to this?
Nancy?
What kind of woke ass
Nancy, what the hell is this shit?
He was asking Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer about the debt ceiling because he knows, I know all about the debt. He didn't know a goddamn thing about the debt ceiling. He went to Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and said, hey, the Republicans won't tell me what the debt ceiling is because they don't know. They don't have a fucking clue. Can you tell me what it is? Can you tell me how important it is and vital to our country and our economy, how important it is? I can already see it in the room. He's standing in front of them. And I can see Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer looking at each other, looking back at him like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Like, how did we elect this fucking idiot, right? Yeah. It's the same reason that, like, Laura Loomer says that Marjorie Taylor Greene didn't know anything when she came into Congress, which, again, totally believable.
I believe it. Yep. Not
But it
surprising.
looks like, according to Laura Loomer, she was like, "Oh yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene contacted me on several occasions because she was like, I saw your your tweet or your post or your stance on this. I don't know anything about it. What should I say?" And it sounds like Laura
Loomer was feeding her lines.
Laura Loomer was coaching Marjorie Taylor Greene on what to say.
What?
A known and proud Islamophobe, as she self-describes, was teaching Marjorie Taylor Greene about big tech and censorship.
What?
Guns and
Oh,
fucking
well.
international policies.
I'm actually happy. I'm
All
actually
right.
happy that Donald Trump took the advice of some smart people
Right.
over in the Senate and in the Congress at the time during his presidency
And
made sure to raise the debt ceiling 3 different times to make sure we didn't default on our
Yeah.
debt. So let's continue with the advice that Nancy and Chuck gave him here.
Would anybody ever use that to negotiate with? They said, absolutely not. That's a sacred element of our country. They can't use the debt ceiling to negotiate.
And he listened to him. Oh my
wow.
God. Hey, Mogladites out there. Hey, you proud fucking Trumpist. You fucking cultist out there. Did you hear that?
Did you hear
He
it?
took the advice
Did you hear
of
it?
Nancy and Chuck
Did you
3
hear it?
different times the entire time.
Did you hear that?
I am waiting
Woke
for. I'm waiting for the video that Donald
Cobalt
Trump is
in
going to
100
release on
seconds.
Truth
I
Social.
bet you
saying
anything I
how
probably
we
could
need
word
to
it.
hold the debt ceiling
I'm
as
probably gonna
hostage,
try this
collateral against the left Democratic
Or
socialists.
after we go,
we
I'm
can put
gonna.
it next
There's
to
a.
that one.
I guarantee.
I'm sorry, I got.
He's gonna
there's
have
just
a video
one that
soon
just
enough
popped
where
on
he's
my
gonna say
screen,
that
and I'm
shit.
like, I'm
Well,
going
yeah,
to try
because
this.
as this
I'm going
heats
to
up,
try this
because people don't know
because
about this.
I
right?
see
And
this.
when I say
this
people,
one
I
that's
mean the country
Cobalt.
really doesn't
and
know
well,
what
I'm
this
going
is
to
going
try
on,
that.
right?
So.
Because this is just hammering out in politics.
Yeah.
We all know about it because we follow fucking politics here,
Every damn day.
on Twitter and online and in the news, and we just know what's going on. We're
And we
very
will see you
cognizant of what
guys
is-
a
what is
little
taking
tomorrow
place.
because we're
Most
going to cover a
Americans don't
little
give
of
two shits
Hal
about
in
what
the
they're doing.
morning.
Kevin
Right.
McCarthy,
So we'll see
Joe
you tomorrow.
Biden.